Hello, it's TruthSOSeeker here, and I'm back with another 1v1 for you guys. I'm playing as the Silver Monkey again, Decimus, and I'm playing against Jealous32, and I really like this game. I may not have played it perfectly correctly, but I definitely think I'm starting to get a little bit more of a grip on the core mechanics of actually building an army and what it really means to want to engage the enemy army. And you'll see how I do in this game. Now, assuming you've seen the last video, because this looks like the same video. Basically, we have Volt and we have Decimus versus Atriox, but in this game I don't, just full out rush him and manage to just end the game right away. He defends more appropriately, I feel, and he actually takes his mini base. But yeah, go ahead, I get Vortex. I'm going to do the same build I did before, where I go ahead and not go double chopper. I get the extra mini base so that the opponent cannot buy it. Again, I think just taking that mini base is a good option. There really shouldn't be much of a downside to it. I think it's at least better than if the enemy takes it. There should be no reason he should be allowed to take it. You should be able to just take it and build on it and keep your economy rolling smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and send my chopper. He's going to pick up that power. I don't know, because this was actually, I think that Vault game I posted yesterday was the game just before this one. So I'm still having that fresh in my mind that I could potentially go for the cheese if I manage to get his mini base. I think on this map in particular, at least jetpack brutes are a lot less influential if you don't get that base, because there's no other real base you'd really want to build jetpack brutes from. Maybe the double mini base that is next to my chopper, but I probably wouldn't want to go for it. Seems a little risky if they go raw chopper. So yeah, I see he has this grunt here. I do a risky move, and I nearly get punished for it. And this is why you shouldn't do this, just ramming grunts in general, because you see he comes in with his chopper, and it's a risky play. I was hoping, or really just banking, that he wouldn't punish me for it, and I mean, I got away with it there again, but it was close. And I almost didn't get away with it. But that's at least the risk that's always occurring when you go in for these random rams, in a sense. There's a chance he could have caught me. So, not risking it anymore. I'm just going to sit back here and pick up supplies. There was a chance he could have tried to come in and guess where my chopper was, but I was banking that he wouldn't guess right if he were to try and find it. And even so, I have more choppers that are coming, and they'll be able to reinforce soon. So, it's not that bad. I go ahead and queue up that mini base as well. And the reason is you have a Covenant or a Banished Mirror, so you want to be able to produce choppers at a fast rate. I'm still not sure if I like Rel Chopper or Chopper Engineer mix. I'm not really sure. I was banking, by the way, that he would have his chopper up on that ledge, getting the power and supply up there, so I had my guys coming up there to check. But if you noticed on the minimap just a moment ago, he just ran down from that edge, and I'm pretty sure he was just up there, and he saw those choppers coming due to the site, and just kind of left. I go ahead now, and I believe I queued up a second generator. I was holding off on it, because, I don't like opening double generator. First off, I don't think you actually can if you buy a mini base at the start. I don't think you can afford it. You may be able to, but even so, it's probably better to go single generator and all supply or Apex or something, just because you need that extra supply income to generate troops, because if you don't generate troops, then you're going to be severely behind if they hit you with something, like a rush. So I've scouted them out at this point. I have a semi-decent amount of choppers, but I kind of have concluded that I'm not going to be able to hit on him anywhere, and I was getting ready to pull off. I saw I had a grunt there. Of course, knowing me, I'm going to go in for the ram. He only has one chopper, and that's also one thing to keep in mind, is when the enemy has mass engineers, it means that they're going to be significantly behind on other troops, such as choppers themselves. So, one advantage to going raw choppers would be that you're going to have much more than them. And that's kind of why I'm at this dilemma of I'm not sure what's better. I do think you want to get an Apex at some point regardless, but I'm just not sure if you necessarily want to do it right off the bat. So here, they're aiming down my chopper, obviously. And I try to pull him out, but I think he was actually stuck between the other two. So that was just my fault for mismanaging my choppers there. Of course, these choppers can get healed up, so their damage that they're taking is not necessarily that bad. Now, I'm assuming that my opponent is also expanding. I suppose a bigger challenge that he could have done if he were to have challenged me would be to have gone just, you know, raw choppers and engineers. I think that may have been a bigger test for me here, but I was assuming that he was expanding at this point because with the engineers, I shouldn't really be able to break through with my choppers alone unless I started including grunts and stuff. Or at least that's what I was feeling. And I see, okay, he is grabbing the Expo now, and he went for a boom into Tech 2. Much like how I'm doing. But yeah, I was hoping to try and get that kill on that grunt, because now it's just going to get healed up more or less. But I do have raid camps going up and an Apex going up. And of course the raid camps are going to be for Rangers at this point. Rangers and maybe some Hunters as well. I could see Hunters because he had a chopper, and there's a chance he's going more choppers. And Hunters are just good in DPS in general. I really like having them. They tank. They deal a lot of damage. There's not really many downsides to it. But you see, he's going in for a push now, and part of this is harder for me to deal with because, you know, he had the cheaper base, so he's able to develop much easier than I am. See, I'm actually upgrading the base, so I paid 400 for the upgrade, and I paid 200 power for, you know, just to buy it, and 500 supplies, so I paid a good bit. And this was kind of a threatening army to deal with that was hitting me right now. Particularly the air is a big problem. I'm thinking about when to use the Vortex. I got a lot of Rangers in the area. I'm thinking, okay, let's go ahead and try and engage here. I actually pulled the wrong menu. So I'm trying to select stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and start stunning his units. I see he throws down a Bulwark, which I think is fine. I know I need to be getting a Foundry up because I need something to deal with that air. Of course, I have my own air, but it's going to be rather insignificant. But now, if you look at his army, I'm able to kill that Hunter. But his army, at the very least, doesn't have a lot of DPS yet. I mean, I know he has his engineers, but really, he just has 2 Banshees that are doing, I would say, quote, good DPS. And even then, it's not that good. So, I actually go ahead and hope to get the air upgrade just because I have so much raw power. Maybe I haven't upgraded my pads? Have I not upgraded? Yeah, I could have upgraded those pads. That was a mistake by me. I could have even done it there. So that's one thing I could have already done better here. But yeah, I'm going to try. You see, I'm trying to get Foundries up all over the place just to try and get some sort of anti-air going. I think, yeah, I'm sitting on a triple gen, I believe. That's probably where all the power is coming from right now. Honestly, probably wasn't necessary to do that, looking back. Maybe I should have waited longer and gotten more troops out before I went for that 3rd generator. I could be... Yeah, I think that was maybe one of the reasons why his rush is hitting so hard. I say it's a rush, it's not even a rush, but why his attack is going so well. See, I managed to get the air upgrade. Even all those pads, I could have upgraded them. So that's unfortunate I didn't manage to do that, but I have 2 Reavers out now, so I'm finally able to start actually harassing his Banshees here. I do need to have some caution, of course, because his air is still somewhat menacing, but because my Reaver is moonwalking, it should be okay. And I'm going to just start poking at him here. See, he has his chopper go out. I don't know if he was trying to ram that Reaver or what was going on, but... Yeah, now I actually have 3 Reavers, and if you look, my DPS is pretty high. Considering each of those Banshees costs 300, it's actually really starting to cost him to sit on the space and actually try and kill it. And like I said before, his DPS wasn't that high. It was much higher now that he had those Banshees, of course, but it was barely able to hold on due to the fact that they, I guess, just didn't put out quite enough. Which I think is good, because, I mean, if Banshees can solo run the show, then that'd be crazy. They already kind of can a little bit. But yeah, you see I have an Apex going up, and I'm basically just going to try and quickly get out an Engineer, because I'm thinking, okay, I need to heal that base. I don't know if maybe I put a shield. Yeah, I put a shield on it, just because I was worried he could try and poke him with something real quick. I'm going to try and jump an Engineer out to heal that base. I'm actually also getting a sensor tower up, and the point is of course, if he sits behind my base, he'll be able to shoot it, and I won't have sight with my units. But yeah, I notice, I think that's, what was that, 3 locusts that were hitting me right there, so, of course, you know, naturally go up to queue the hunters. And that's the thing, too, is like, hunters are always good, because since you're always fighting for air control, in a lot of cases, by, you know, normally it could just mass Banshees, but then you have Banshees Reavers. So therefore you would want to go Hunters to try and counter the Reavers so that you can keep going air. So it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing, except on an extreme scale. I go ahead now and actually drop down this Vortex. And I think this was worth it. And because even though he managed to drop my mini base, the thing is, like, you know, locusts are freaking expensive. So if you can even manage to kill some of them, that's extremely good. Like, I basically look at that as a walking mini base. It's even more expensive than it really. But like, if you can manage to kill them, that's like, it's literally a walking mini base that you just killed. So it's always good if you can manage to get some kills out on them. I stopped healing my actual base. I realized it like really late into the game here. I'm like, oh wait, I never finished healing that base. But I'm gonna queue that back up now. See, I'm actually sitting on a pretty hefty pop. I'm sitting on 75. I have some locust training right now so that I can start to get some base DPS, because with all these Reavers I have in my army right now, the DPS is very lacking, to put simply. I'm actually going to go for that power node on the edge there first and check that other base to see that he hasn't tripled. Something I should also be at least aware of is my triple. Now, of course, I'm not going to go for it anytime soon, because I just don't have the resources for it. But I should be keeping in mind that he doesn't take it, because, spoiler alert, he did take it. But yeah, I check and I see he doesn't have that base at the least. So I'm going to go ahead and cap that node with something. I don't know what I'm going to cap it with. Maybe I'll build a grunt. I'm not sure. But it looks like I'm capping it with something right now, actually. But yeah, I'm going to regroup my guys to the middle now, because I figure, okay, now that I've, you know, taken that, I have my locusts out. That was another thing. I was kind of just waiting for my locust to finish so that I could send them up too. I'm sending a Banshee over to the side, not to check that base, but I just wanted to kind of have him sitting there, so if I ever saw any counter push going, I'm going to be aware of it. Because that's something that's always on my mind. Is he going to try and base trade in some way? Because if you actually look right now, due to that Banshee's positioning, I was able to check, and I'm like, okay, he's not coming from the right. I have all my mini bases and power nodes, so okay, he's not coming from the left. So I figure, okay, he must still be playing defense against me. And now I see he's actually trying to come up here right now. I send my locust through the teleporter, and I'm going to have my other guys pulling back around here. And I'm going to keep queuing up some stuff now that I got reinforcements level 1. See, he's actually coming through the teleporter. And I think I made really good use of the map itself in this game, because you notice how I'm like always drawing away, and I'm still hitting due to the height of the map. Like, even up here, like, I'm able to get some decent coverage. I suppose maybe he saw that locust that went through, and he thought that maybe I sent more of my army through or something. I'm not sure exactly. But my population's doing pretty well right now. Basically, at max pop. I'm getting Fortify level 1. And again, the main reason is just for base trade potential. Or rather, not even just for base trade potential, but just so my base doesn't, get killed. Although it would be nice if I actually healed my base. But I figure, okay, if you noticed his army composition, it consisted of a lot of vehicles. And I actually thought that my composition right now kind of beated him. So, you see I'm actually pushing for an engagement here because I'm thinking, okay, I can push. And I actually made a mistake. I should have ordered my troops to start moving up. I suppose I was afraid that, if I am walking up and I do the vortex and at some point I decide I can't win this engagement, I'm basically walking right into it. But I guess I really should have trusted my initial instinct on it because, I think I was actually just crushing that engagement if he were to have gone through with it. But yeah, I actually have the final upgrade for my guys, or the ultimate ability rather. So my guys are faster and do more damage, which I think is really strong. Actually, it's really good of an option. Combine that with the healing siphon they get, it's actually pretty scary of an army to deal with. But I'm gonna drop this base, try and hit him a little bit. See, he has a sensor tower. He was trying to build a sensor tower, I suppose, so he could shoot his turrets up above. He has a blister back locked down in the back, but I'm not so concerned about that, honestly. I go ahead and unlock teleport because I think I pushed a little bit too far into his army. I should have started moving away sooner. But yeah, like you see, I'm actually just kind of in a position to where I'm walking away, but my units are still able to DPS. And I feel like I made really good use of the land terrain here, just by being able to shoot, and to where he rather has minimal units able to shoot back. But now we're basically on level terrain, and his army's still there, so I'm actually going to pull out. I figure I should get a little bit more troops out first before having to deal with his assault. My base is almost green bar, but not quite yet. But again, that healing siphon is actually just really strong. I noticed it several times in this game. I was loving how strong it was. Trying to get fortify level 2. Honestly, not so sure about that because, it seems pretty obvious he was going for that. I was thinking maybe he'd go for my main, so that's why I queued it. At the very least, if he destroys it, it just gets unqueued and I get my money back. But here, I go ahead and try and engage. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should fight at my base, and he drops an eradication, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can run through it since I'm faster. And he hits me really hard, and it was a really, really good eradication that he used there. And I was actually kind of worried. I go ahead and spend a lot of money queuing back up some stuff. I am on Tech 3 now, so I'm able to queue Wraiths, and I'm able to make use of my large supply eco that I have going for me here. And I'm kind of getting ready to see what he has to hit me with, and he actually doesn't have that much. By the way, the fact that I have that sensor tower is so helpful, because if I hadn't known that I wouldn't have nearly been as brave as I was to, push into him, because I knew what he had, and the fact that that sensor tower gave me that information, that, you see all the stuff I'm killing because of that sensor tower giving me that information. It's actually kind of crazy how useful it was, and I think it's actually really underrated, the sensor tower. I should have had those Reavers jump away there. I guess that was just bad micro by me. I think maybe he was planning on going through the teleporter there, but maybe it just didn't listen or something. But I have more troops coming right now. See, my eco's still pretty solid. I think my eco is really solid, even for just a double. I think part of that could be to diminishing returns. I'm not sure. I'm comparing it to whenever I'm Atriox and I would be on a triple, But yeah, my troops are, I think, still pretty decent. I'm at 83 pop at least queued. I actually scout that, and I'm freaking out a little bit at this point because I'm saying, oh no, he has this base. That's basically my instant thought is I need to get rid of that as soon as I can. And it's worth noting that if you've ever upgraded the vehicle at this point, it's going to pay off because I could see you wanting to upgrade the vehicles for the Reavers so long as you're on Tech 2. So there is reason to do it at Tech 2. But if you ever do it, it's going to pay off for you in the long run because then you're going to have the Wraith upgrade already done, you know? So I can see that being a good use to it. Anyway, I figure my army's pretty large. I'm kind of not expecting him to be in position to deal with this, so I push in. I probably could have maybe made 1 or 2 locusts to try and help out with the DPS a little bit. I know I have a good DPS army anyway. I have Hunters, Banshees, and Wraiths, so it's already pretty good DPS. But I suppose I could have done... it wouldn't have hurt to throw in a locust or 2. He goes ahead and he just sells his base because I suppose he was seeing he wouldn't be able to keep it. I actually go ahead and Q tier 3 on my air, so I am getting some pretty high tiers now. And he just goes ahead and pulls off. I'm sending a Banshee back as well to prepare to triple. And I have the rest of my army going up because I can see his army still due to the power node. And I'm going to go ahead and try and push in now because I figure I can fight what he currently has out. And he has his blister back locked down, but I'm not really sure it was so optimally placed right there, especially like with me being able to proceed like I was. And that's pretty much going to end the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I have some cutter games coming up here, so expect some cutter. I also have some 2s that I might upload, so maybe see that as well. But yeah, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.